What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 102. This is going to be fun to do this stuff for a while, you know. Today, we are going to get our 2024 positional rankings underway. We are starting with first base. And with me tonight, the man, the myth, the legend from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, how you feeling about first base this year, my friend?
It's an interesting position. Very top heavy, I feel like, which I think we're going to kind of see. I think we're going to see throughout these rankings. I feel like it's a lot of top heavy this year for me. But I'm wearing my new Pete Alonso All Star shirt. Representing the first baseman. So I'm raring to go, man. I'm raring to go.
I am also rocking a Pete Alonso Mets jersey, so we are in lockstep on who we enjoy at this position this year. I just hope that we lock Pete
Absolutely.
up for a long term this year or next year, because I will be very sad to see him go. Let's dive right into this thing, my friend. And number one at both of our, I just have to assume you have Freddie Freeman at number one because that's who I have.
Yeah, I don't think it's really much of a question.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden he's got Shohei Ohtani hitting in the same lineup as him and Mookie Betts. Yeah, absolutely. He led the position at 59 doubles last year, had over 100 RBIs again, and hit 330. Amazing, amazing. He is
Yeah,
he is
and
number
and
one with a bullet.
he's
Go ahead.
not slowing down.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't slump. Like that's the one thing that we were talking about last year. Like this dude just doesn't slump.
yeah.
That's all we agree on, if I remember correctly. Who is your number two at the position, sir?
So I have Bryce Harper, who enters the position on a full time basis for the first time in his career. Uh, Look, he's the volume hasn't been there in the last couple of years because of injuries, but when he's on the field, man, he's still one of the best hitters, most dynamic hitters in the game, and. We saw that with Mike Haber last year. He drafted him, I believe, in the 10th round, somewhere in the middle round last year, and the guy won the championship. So like I'm not saying that it was, absolutely because of Bryce Harper, but that he's a game changer both in real baseball and in the bigs. And at age 31, I think the ceiling is still so high for this guy.
126 games last year. He hit 21 homers, 80 walks. He had a 401 on base percentage. That's one thing that really stands out to me. And the lack of strikeouts there, 119 across 450 at bats. Really, really nice season. I just don't know if the 293 batting average is real and if he's just going to fall sort of back to 270, 260 ish, somewhere in that range. I have him at 3. I do. My number 2 is Matt Olson. Where do you have him?
I have him at 3, so we have him flip
Okay.
flopped.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair enough. I can understand. Listen, Matt Olson had a ridiculous season last year, 54 homers and 139 RBIs, wasn't even the MVP on his own team. But as long as they've got Acuna and Riley and Albies in that lineup, I like Matt Olson just a little bit more than Bryce Harper.
Sure, sure. I understand that. And one thing I should preface with these rankings that so I've done kind of a 3-year look back on
Mhm.
most of these guys who have 3-year track records, and I've kind of ranked them based on their stats and also based on whether I would draft them or whether I want them on my team. So there's a little bit of bias, a little bit of stats kind of mixed in here. So we'll see that as we go through that. Some of these rankings may not statistically make sense, but it's more of what I would do going into the big season.
I kind of have it ranked the same way as the guy I would draft next for my team, right? This is not necessarily
Yeah,
like who I think the best player is or who I think had the greatest season last year. This is the order that I want them on my team. So that brings us to number 4 after we talk about Harper and Olson. Who do you have at number 4?
I have Vlad.
Okay.
Um, yeah, down here, I know a lot of people talking about is this kid maybe not for real. He's only 25. He's
Mm-hmm.
only 25 years old. Uh, and he's still in the middle of that stacked Blue Jays lineup. I still think there's so much potential here for this guy. I'd be happy to have him on my team. I don't know if he's a first rounder after a down year last year, but second round, I would take him the second round.
I would be shocked if he was a first rounder. I think the back end of the second round makes the most sense to me, maybe even early third. Yeah, you did talk about the down year. He had 264 last year, 26 homers, 94 RBIs. Uh, Only 100 strikeouts, which is the least amount of the guys that we've talked about already. And he had over 600 at bats. So that's really something to key in on. He does now limit the strikeouts. I have him at 5. I have one guy ahead of him. Who do you have at 5?
I have our jerseys. Yeah.
I have him at
Um,
4.
yeah. Again, I think for me it's about the lineup for the most part, and the youth. The lack of
Mhm,
strikeouts you mentioned is another thing. Pete does strike out a lot. 151 times this past season. He hit
mhm,
217, which
mhm.
I don't think is going to be the norm for him, but it's not great. So I just have him a tad below Vlad.
So my thing with Pete versus Vlad is that Pete is the safest guy in the major leagues for 40 and 100. Period. As long as he's healthy, he is the safest bet for 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. You want to talk Kyle Schwarber too? Fine, but like 40 is the number. And
Yeah,
Pete's done that every single year of his career that isn't 2020. Um, 217, yeah, it was awful. It was bottom 5 at the position for batting average. But his expected batting average was 246. So that's more in line with what I would expect to see out of Pete. I think this is going to be a pretty big bounce back year for him. And on a contract year, I'm willing to give him the edge over Vlad just for this year. But if we see
makes
another
sense. I
217 batting average, like I'm not.
yeah.
Ugh.
And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with the Mets season. If they're tanking by end of June, he may not be in Queens. For the last 3 months of the year.
Yep. So Freeman, Olson, Harper, Alonso, and Guerrero Jr. are the top 5 in order for me, but the same 5 for you, just in a different order. I believe it was Freeman, Harper, Olson, Vlad, and Alonso, correct?
Correct.
So
Correct.
that moves on to number 6. And this, to me, like, I do tiers here. So this finishes up the second tier for me as number 6. Who do you have at 6?
I have Paul Goldschmidt, and I agree. For me, this is the helicopter, or however you phrase it last year, right? Like I feel like this is the end of the line for me. Like after here, I'm a little like I can hold off on first base. If I don't get one of these six guys, I might hold off on first base.
I don't even have Paul Goldschmidt at 6. I don't even have him in this tier. He's aging,
Interesting.
and we're
He is.
seeing the decline start to come. The walks are always going to be there. He's going to hit like 265 to 280, depending on what he does. His on base percentage isn't as good as the guys above him. And again, the team took a step back next year. I'm not fully sure that he's going to age as well as everybody else in the lineup. He might start to fall down the lineup as he continues to age. For next year, or for this year, rather, I have him at 7. It's not an egregious thing. Like he just starts the next tier for me. My number 6 is Yandy Diaz, who won the batting title last year and put up 22 homers, 78 RBIs, struck out less than 100 times at over 520 at bats. 410 on base percentage, a 932 OPS. I loved my man Yandy Diaz last year. He was wonderful for me. I think he's going to be extremely expensive this year, and I don't know that I'm going to get him.
Yeah. Look, I have him at 7. So
Okay.
again, we're flip flop. For me, Goldschmidt, yes, he's aging, but he has the track record. Like I know
Mhm.
what I'm going to get with him. Yandy, like yeah, 2022 was a good year. Last year was a really good year for him, but I feel like those kind of came out of nowhere ish. Like in 2021, he hit 256 with 13 home runs. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know how real it is. Goldschmidt, I at least know that I'm going to get, like you said, 265 to 280. He's good for 25, 30 bombs. Like he's Goldschmidt. You know what you're going to get with him.
Interesting comparison here between Yandy and Paul Goldschmidt. I'll be interested to see where everybody else stands up there. But 6 and 7, again, same guys, just flip flopped for us. So that brings me to number 8. This might be where we start to divide. This is where things
Perhaps.
might get weird. Who you have at 8?
I have the other batting champ. I have Luis Ariz,
Okay, I've got him a little
who
bit
does have
lower, but tell me about a rise.
Yeah, look again. It's the batting average. Obviously, there's no power here, but you're steady for no strikeouts and a strong batting average. And in uh, there are so many guys in this league that are prone to strikeout. They're heavy strikeout hitters. If you can have a guy like this who's striking out, uh, what was 34 times. He walked more than he struck out this year. Like
Mhm.
that warrants some merit.
Yeah, it's Tony Gwynn. It's very 5.5% strikeout rate with 10 homers and 3 steals and 35 walks. Like this isn't I'm not huge on this. It's empty batting average. Yeah, he's going to get a ton of hits, but he doesn't even score a ton of runs because the lineup behind him isn't all that great. So I have him a little. I have him outside the top 10, um,
Okay.
but I have him in this tier that we're talking about. My number 8 is Christian Walker. I think Christian Walker has put up at least 2 really good seasons, but I think it's been 3 straight at this point. 33 homers and 103 RBIs last year, while being fairly comparable to the guy that he replaced in Arizona and Paul Goldschmidt. He had a better year last year than Paul Goldschmidt. And
Yeah, it's two straight because in 2021 he only hit 10 home runs with 244 average and
okay.
a 315 on base. But the last 2 years were good. The average isn't great. The on base isn't great. The rate stats aren't great. The volume is there. The homers and
Mm-hmm.
had 103 RBIs last year. Even chipped in 11 steals. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the batting average and the strikeouts that kill me.
3 fewer runs than Goldschmidt, 5 more doubles, looks like 8 more home runs, 23 more RBIs, same number of steals, fewer strikeouts, fewer walks, which contributed to a lesser on base percentage, but he had a higher OPS. Like he had a better year than Paul Goldschmidt last year. And I think he deserves some respect. His team went to the World Series and he was a really big part of it. So I think we need to start putting a little respect on Christian Walker's name. I've got him at 8 here. You have Luisa Rise. Who do you have at 9?
9, I have Nathaniel Lowe. Talk about World Series.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay.
you know what? Yeah, looking at the numbers, like they're not. He's not terrible. Like he had 17 home runs, 27 home runs the year before, 82 RBIs. His lineup is only getting better. I feel like they're gelling. They're the defending World Series champion. He's going right into his prime. He's 28 years old. I think this kid is going to be something real this year.
I think this is James Loney, dude. Like, I think this is a really good lineup around him, but I think he's going to hit 7th at some point. Like, it's just to a point where you're like, he walks plenty. He had 93 walks last year, but he also struck out 165 times, which is good for 22.6%. The on base percentage, yeah, it's 360. It was there, but a 774 OPS, not great. There's not a whole lot of power. 38 doubles was really nice. I just want to see him do it one more time for me. I have him outside the top 15.
Look, roster resource has him slated to hit 6 in the lineup, which
Okay.
I think is a nice spot for him behind Josh Young, behind Evan Carter. Giving those guys some protection. Uh, it, I think he's gonna have a nice year this year for these Rangers. His lineup is scary, and he's right in the middle of it.
I know Ben Nisman is absolutely out on this guy for 2024 and beyond. He has no interest in Nathaniel Lowe, and I tend to lean that direction. I'm not entirely out on the guy, but yeah, I've got him outside the top 15. My number 9 is a guy that probably won't be playing very much first base, but did play enough to get the position for this season. Anthony Santander cracks the top 10 for me this year. 41 doubles, 28 homers, 95 RBIs, and oh, by the way, it's going to be a contract year for him this year. So let's see him ball out. He had 257, 325 on base, good for an almost 800 OPS. No speed to speak of, but this Orioles lineup is only going to get better as this team continues to gel together. So I'm all over Anthony Santander at 9. Who do you have at 10, my friend?
Uh, you're gonna probably.
This is the one.
I'll be
This is
interested.
the one.
I think this
This
is
is
the
the one.
one. Yeah,
This is the one.
I have Nolan Jones of the Colorado Rockies at number 10. You know what? Look for this kid. I'm going to say right now, he is my breakout candidate for this year. He's playing. First of all, he's playing in Coors Field, and he's a slugger. 2020, He 20 homers, 20 steals in 106 games last year.
Mhm.
So extrapolate that over a full year. I like that. He hit 297, only struck out 126 times. Like, it,
In
he's and
367 at bats, man, that was a almost 30% strikeout rate.
yeah, okay. But everything
He also
else,
he
like,
also had an
just
expected batting average 50 points lower than that 297. This was a really hot run for 100 games. Absolutely, without question, he had a really, really nice 2023. If he breaks out, he's going to break out on somebody else's team. It's not going to be mine. I have him at 25. I have
okay.
him just
Wow.
below Reese Hoskins and right ahead of Heimer Candelario.
So
Like,
we differ here.
yes, quite a bit. Now, what I will agree with you on is that the number 10 spot is where a breakout candidate should go. I have my breakout candidate at number 10. And this guy, in 429 at bats, walked 70 times and had a 367 on base percentage, 24 homers, plenty of RBI opportunity now in this Boston Red Sox lineup. Give me Tristan Casas for this breakout. I see 30
Yeah.
and 100 out of this dude.
By the way, I have him at number 11. So
Okay.
I'm right there with him.
I think the Red
No,
Sox are going
I
to be
give
much improved. Like Tyler O'Neill in that lineup instead of Verdugo gives them more power. I think Devers coming back for a full year will be really nice. Trevor Story on a full year. Who was the second baseman they just signed? Who's going to play second
um
for them? They just signed somebody to play second base for them.
yeah, it's slipping me. Well, they have Von Grissom. They traded for Von
Wong,
Grissom.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
This lineup
yeah.
is going to be completely different. And Tristan Casas is a left-handed first baseman in this lineup. I told you last year he reminded me of Freddie Freeman. Yeah, let's see what this kid can do.
Yeah, yeah. I only give Nolan Jones the edge because of the park, because of Coors Field.
Okay.
But yeah, and because he does have left field and right field eligibility as well. So
That makes things different.
for fantasy purposes, it gives him a little bit of extra.
That's why I gave Santander the edge. He'll have, I think, at least right field eligibility over
Right field,
Casas.
he'll have right field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. At number 11, I have a rise for the reasons that we just talked about. Who do you have at 11?
Casas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Number
Yeah,
12. Who do you have at 12?
I have Christian Walker here.
Okay. I can respect Christian Walker there. I would like to see him above Nolan fucking Jones. At least he's done it for 2 fucking seasons, Jason. I have Cody
Yeah,
Bellinger here.
yeah. Okay.
I have Cody Bellinger here, and this could change based on where he signs. He had a really nice year for Chicago last year. No guarantee he does it again, which is why I've got him behind more proven and things I believe in. A rise for the batting average, Casas for the breakout ability, Santander because he's done it for longer and more consistently. So Bellinger falls here. I could see him falling behind the guys that are behind him if he signs in a less advantageous spot. But realistically, I don't think he's going to go to somebody like Pittsburgh or Miami. I don't think that's going to happen. So,
No, no.
all right, at 13, who do you have at 13?
Here I have Santander.
Okay. I have Alec Boehm here. I think that this is another kid that could be poised for a nice breakout. The strikeout rate is way down compared to guys in this same tier. And the lineup is really nice. He had 97 RBIs last year and only hit 20 bombs. Like he was really good in this lineup. I like it.
Yeah, I'm down on him, but
You're
we'll get
not
there.
not a fan of Boehm. Okay. Very
I'm
well.
not. I'm not.
Rounding out this third tier for me at number 14, I have Ryan Mountcastle.
We are in lockstep.
Woohoo! We got one.
Yes.
After flip-flopping quite a few of them, we get the same one here at 14 with Ryan Mountcastle. And look, he's going to be the first baseman of Baltimore. You got to love that guy.
Yeah. And look, if you look at the numbers, him and Santander really put up more or less the same season. Like that, and that's why I have them back to back, because they really are like almost identical. Like more walks for Santander, which is why I have them ahead. But the power is the same. The speed is not there for either of them. The batting average is pretty much the same. They're all pretty much similar. So I like them both.
Yeah, I like him too. And if you could pair them together, that'd be great. But I think Mountcastle's going to go much later. He only played 111 games last year. Injuries took some time from him, so it'll be a nice bounce back for him. And he's locked in there for the next few years, so he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That concludes the third tier for me, and this is where I sort of go, okay, if I don't have a first baseman by this point, I'm concerned, but there's still some good names out there, man. Like you saying it's very top heavy, and I tend to agree, but you don't have to lock yourself into the top six guys.
Yeah, but I'm worried about the guys that I have left on my list because
Mhm.
there's age concerns, there's inconsistency concerns, there's unproven concerns. Uh, so yeah, there's some guys here that I like, but I'm not loving this part of the list.
Okay. Who do you have at number 15?
I have Justin Turner, who's going to have eligibility at first, second, and third this year. 39. We don't know where he's playing. I'm still hoping he's coming to Queens for a year. I feel like it makes sense for what the Mets are doing with these short-term deals that are just for 1 year with an option maybe. But anyway, uh, kind of like Goldschmidt, you know what you're getting with him. You're getting, a decent average, decent pop, really not a whole lot of strikeouts. Um, the one concern is he's just about almost as old as we are, and
Mhm.
I don't know what that does for his trajectory, but he still had a nice 2023 in over 626 plate appearances, so
Yeah.
he can still play.
Yeah, 23 homers, 96 RBIs, and a 276 batting average was absolutely great. I have a 23. I just feel like at 39 and being unsigned at this point, I can't justify him going any higher than that right now. If he signs in a really good lineup, and I mean a good lineup, if he goes to like back to LA or something, then sure. But
Yeah,
I just don't see it here. I'm worried about where he's going to sign. And if he goes to Queens, I might drop him behind a couple of guys behind him. At 15, I have a guy that I fell in love with last year, but probably will be out on for this year. Isaac Paredes, 31
okay.
homers, 98 RBIs, a 250 batting average, 350 on base percentage, but and like a decent strikeout to walk ratio. He only struck out 18% of the time. But here's the thing. He had an expected batting average of 226. He had a hard hit percentage of 28.7. That's bottom 5 at the position. Average exit velocity of 87 miles an hour. That's bottom 5 at the position. He pulls the ball so goddamn much. And if he doesn't pull it over the fence, it's probably going to be an out. He doesn't really spray the ball to all fields. He's a really dead pull hitter. And as teams see that, they're going to adjust to it. I don't know that this is going to be as good a season for him this year. So I've got him starting off this fourth tier, and realistically, with a good spring from some of the guys behind him, he could probably fall even further back.
Yeah, yeah. I have him a little bit further down. I like the potential, but I don't like the lineup that he's in now, especially without
Mm-hmm.
Wander Franco there. So I'm not crazy about the lineup. I've never really liked the Rays lineup to begin with. So I have him at 19. I'm a little bit further down, but kind of for the same
Okay.
reasons that you mentioned.
Yeah, it falls in the same tier that I've got him in, and I could see him falling that low at some point this season. Did we talk about your 15?
Justin Turner, yes.
Okay, and who do you have at 16?
16, I have Jose Abreu. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, kind of falls into the same idea as Goldschmidt in terms of the age and the decline, but his decline was dark. And so I can't put faith in him unless I see a real bounce back, and I don't see it coming. I think we're finally seeing the end of Jose Abreu.
I disagree. I've got him as my bounce back candidate this year. I think you can get him mad cheap, but I have him lower than this. I have him in the same tier. He finishes this tier though. He's at 21.
Okay.
For a lot of the same reasons, I'm apprehensive about it, but I do feel like if Houston's going to get anything out of this guy, this is going to be the year. 1 year to get his feet wet and like figure everything out, and then we get a good year of him this year. I could see him bouncing back. He still had 90 RBIs last year in all of the garbage that he put up. A 236 batting average, a 296 on base percentage, still drove in 90.
Yeah, because look who's hitting ahead of him.
I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree. They're still
so,
there. They're not going
right.
anywhere.
Well, Yeah, so hit all the sack flies you want, and that's an
Right.
RBI. But like, you know, yeah, a 237 average with a 296 on base and 87 OPS plus. Nah.
Yeah, not great, not great. At 16, I have probably one of the hotter names at this position this year. Spencer Torkelson, 31 homers, 94 RBIs, and 600 at bats last year, but he struck out a fucking ton. 171 strikeouts. He had 233 with a 313 on base percentage. I could see him taking a step forward. I could see him being a 30 homer guy every year. I could see him taking a step forward, 100 RBIs, maybe a 250 batting average. Cheap man's Pete Alonso here.
Yeah, he actually didn't make my top 25. He was
Wow.
just outside. I had him in there for a little bit, and honestly, I probably should get him back in, and I know who I would take out. Um, I just the strikeouts really concern me, and I need to. We haven't seen he has the pedigree, and we haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen anything that resembles a quality season from this kid, and I want to see
This
it before I commit to him.
I like this as a quality season. 31, 94, 34 doubles, 88 runs scored, 67 walks. Yeah, the strikeouts are there, but he's what, like 23?
Yeah, 24. He's a 233 with a 313. He was terrible in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
There was a slight improvement. Look, yes, I can see him going into this top list.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I probably could get him in near at the bottom, but certainly not as high as you have him.
The only thing, the last thing I'll point to, he had top five at the position in barrel percentage, 14.2% barrel percentage, 51.3% hard hit rate, and 91.9 on the average exit velocity. All three top five at the position. That is well worth the investment for a 24-year-old. So 16, I don't think that's too egregious. Who do you have at 17?
Uh, Wild card here, I guess, because he does qualify for the position, is Salvador Perez.
Okay, I have a different Royal.
I didn't go near him. I know who you're talking about. I no.
Yeah, I got Vinny
But
P.
Salvador,
Vinny P, baby.
yeah, yeah,
Now, tell me
he
about
doesn't
Salvi.
play. Salvi plays. Even as a catcher slash DH slash first base, whatever he is for the Royals. He's gonna be 34, so he's certainly not a spring chicken anymore. But he still hits a 292 average last year with 23 home runs, 80 RBIs. He's not great anymore, but like he's good enough for 17 for me.
Yeah. Now, 17, I have Vinny P. I feel like this is going to be the guy that they need to step up alongside Bobby Witt in order to make a step forward in this division. 17 is a safe enough spot for me. I've got him right ahead of Nathaniel Lowe, actually, and I feel like that might be something where I taper back Vinny P here, but like not by a whole lot. I actually like this guy in this
He
tier.
hasn't played. He
I
doesn't
know.
play. He's
He
he's
played
been
he
hurt.
played
So I
61 games last year. 61 games last year. So I'm willing to listen.
and I think
You've
it was
got
like 70
You've
something the
got
year
Nolan
before.
Jones at 10. You've got Nolan Jones at 10. You're going to tell me about Vinny P at 17.
Yes,
This
because
guy
Nolan
doesn't
Jones
play.
played.
Okay. I've got Nathaniel Lowe at 18. Who do you have there?
At 18, I have Bellinger here.
Okay.
He could go up, but like I told you off air, 2020 to 2022, those are real stats and those happened, and I can't just discount him
Mhm.
because he had a nice 2023. It's been years now since he's had back-to-back quality seasons, so we don't know where he's playing, which is a part of it too. I don't know what to make of this guy, so I have him down here in the middle.
Okay. I mean, I can see him falling as well. Like I said, with a bad spring or a bad spot to sign. Like if he goes to Minnesota, I'd be pretty disappointed in that. Um, 18, I have Nathaniel Lowe. Number 19, sir. Who do you have at 19?
This I have Isaac Paredes.
Okay. Uh, Again, we went over him. I have Andrew Vaughn here of the Chicago White Sox. You roll your
Don't
eyes, and
even have
the dude hit 30 doubles, 21 homers, and 80 RBIs.
I
He
the White
belongs
Sox
in
are
this
doing
tier.
terrible.
Yes.
I
But he's still going to
Yeah, I
drive
don't.
in runs. People are still going to score runs on the Chicago White Sox this year.
Yeah, I've never been a believer in him,
Okay.
and I'm still not.
566 at bats. He struck out 20% of the time. He doesn't walk as much as I would like. He had 258 last year with an expected batting average of 250, so that's as honest as you can get there. On base percentage
He hits
isn't
it hard.
great. Hard enough. I mean,
Well,
it's not as great as the upper echelon, but it is again in line with guy. I mean, it's better than Nathaniel Lowe in both barrel rate, hard hit percentage, and average exit velocity. Um, yeah, I mean, I think they're comparable. I think Vaughn could have the better season. He certainly did last year. Well, no, he didn't. Lowe had the better season last year, but I digress.
yeah.
Who you got at 20?
20. I have Alec Bohm here. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. There's I just don't I don't know what it is, but I don't like him. The average is nice, is okay. I don't know. Just nothing really stands out to me as like something that I look. I said I went 3 years back, right? Over the
Mm-hmm.
last 3 years, he's averaged 13 home runs and 70 RBIs. That doesn't sound like a first baseman to me. That sounds like a shortstop, or like something I would get from like a catcher, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I don't know. It just doesn't sound to me like somebody who I can really put a whole lot of faith in. I know he's in a good lineup, so he's going to drive in runs. He's going to score runs, and maybe he makes his way up this rankings, but from what I've seen, I don't I'm not a lover of him.
My number 20 is a guy that I think you're going to hate as well. It feels gross to have Anthony Rizzo in my top 20, but it's one of those feelings like, who else is there? It's him and Jose Abreu right here at 20 and 21 for me. So, like, fine. You want me to put Abreu at 20? Fine. But, like, both of these guys are veteran guys who don't strike out very much and they could drive in runs. Like, as long as Rizzo's healthy, the lineup is a whole hell of a lot better with Juan Soto there, and he's still going to hit in the middle of it.
Yeah, I have him as a bounce back candidate. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have him in the top 25. Honestly, like it probably would come down to either him or Torkelson, who makes it into the top 25 for me. Um, I could see it. I don't know. I could also see a decline at 34 and coming off a concussion. Like, so I'm a little skeptical on him.
I agree. That's why I've got him this low, and the guys behind him I believe in even less. So it was Rizzo and Abreu to finish up this tier. Who do you have at 21?
21, I have Reese Hoskins as my actual bounce back candidate. He signed with the
Okay,
Brewers, so he's ready to play. He's going to be their first baseman. If he's as long as he's healthy, and I don't think that the Brewers would have signed him if they didn't think that he was.
great.
I don't see why he couldn't come back to some sort of respectability. He's still only 31, so it's not like we're
Mhm.
talking about like decrepitation here. We'll see what he can do in Milwaukee. No pressure,
Let
no pressure that he had in Philadelphia.
let's hope that he's better than the last couple of signings they've put in there at first base. There, they had Carlos Santana, which was nice down the stretch, but Luke Voigt was there for a minute, and it's just been a mess at Milwaukee at first base for a while now. I have Hoskins a little bit lower, but not too much. This starts what is this, the fifth tier for me of players? Yeah. The fifth tier at number 22. I got Spencer Steer and all of his eligibility here at 22.
Mm-hmm.
37 doubles, 23 homers, 86 RBIs, 15 steals, 270 batting average, in a really nice hitter's park in Cincinnati. I just don't believe it.
Look, I have my 23, and for all the same reasons, but the eligibility is really nice to have.
Yeah.
If you can, if you can get in on those 23 home runs and put them at second base or third base, like sure, it's a nice little find, but
Yeah, he definitely
we'll
doesn't
see.
blow me away in the StatCast metrics. It's not a great number when you look at the hard hit percentage or the barrel percentage, and it was just it was just a really nice season out of nowhere from this guy. How old is he? Like 27,
26, yeah.
26? Okay. Yeah, sort of out of nowhere guy. I have a 22. Who do you have at 22?
Similar in that he has a lot of eligibility. I have Brendan Donovan here.
Okay.
Um, who had, I think he just had a nicer all around season. He only struck out 14% of the time, hit
Hmm.
284 with a 365 on base. Only 95 games he got hurt, so I like to see a full season from him. But he's gonna play all over the diamond, and I don't think the Cardinals have a better option, so he's gonna play.
Yeah, I mean he is going to play. He's not going to play first base. They've got a better option called Paul Goldschmidt,
Yeah, but he
uh,
has the
but
eligibility,
he's
so I'll
gonna,
take it.
yeah, he's gonna, and he's gonna lose some of that eligibility from not being as versatile in 23 as he was in 22, where like coming
Sure.
into the season, Brendan Donovan was like the guy you had to have because he was so versatile, and then
Yeah.
he got hurt and ended his season, so that hurts. 23, I have Justin Turner. We talked about him already. Who do you have at 23?
23, I have Steer.
Okay. 24, I have Reese Hoskins. Who do you have at 24?
Okay, 24. This is the guy I would take out for either Torkelson or Rizzo. I have Josh Bell here.
Ooh,
Uh,
yeah, no, he doesn't even make my top 35.
yeah, I don't love it. I just think that there is still some power in that bat. He's still only 31. Um, you know, but yeah, I don't love the selection here.
Yeah.
90 AEV, 43.4 hard hit last year with a
Mhm.
325 on base. I mean, it's not awful, but yeah, I could see Torkelson taking his place.
Yeah, if you want to go after Josh Bell in one of the later rounds, by all means, but let's hope that the Marlins don't have somebody coming through the pipe that might be better or that they would like to play more than him.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't I don't necessarily like it. I don't like that lineup at all, especially without Jorge Soler now. Like I don't think there's anything redeeming in that lineup that scares the crap out of me. Um, Rounding out the top 25, sir, here's where I have Nolan Jones. A respectable, like you put up a good half season and did 2020 and really totally outpaced all of the metrics that you're supposed to be. Like you hit out of your mind 50 points better than your expected batting average. That tells me you're going to come back down to earth a little bit here. But I'm at least willing to put you ahead of Heimer Candelario and Luke Rayleigh and Josh Naylor. You could have those spots. But 10, 10, dude.
A 2020 season like that like even if the expected batting average is was not right, he 20 stolen bases like in
Cody
half a
Bellinger
season,
had
like
20 stolen bases. And you've got him like
yeah,
15 spots lower.
he doesn't play in Coors Field. I'm telling you, this guy, I like Nolan Jones. I look, the Rockies are going to be terrible, but I'm telling you, there are some pieces in this roster that are actually uh good.
Okay.
I think.
All right. You have Nolan Jones. I mean, I do too, but like Nolan Jones is higher than Chris Bryant, who's on the same team.
Yeah, well, Chris Bryant, I need to see him play more than fucking 60 games.
He played 80 last year.
Okay, if you average out 2023 and 2022, he played an average of 61 games over the last 2 years.
That's terrible. They signed him to this
Yeah,
monster contract, and he's just like, yeah, whatever.
yeah.
You guys go play. All right, that rounds out our top 25. Do you have
Wait, you did get my
anybody?
25.
Oh, who is your 25?
My 25 is a guy that I've had a man crush on for a few years now, but I'm slowly losing it. Ty
Oh,
France.
God. No.
I have I have Ty France here. I still think he's something. I like the Mariners. He hits in the middle of that order. Doesn't strike out. Only struck out 17% of the time last year.
Mhm.
Um, I look, he's 25 for me, so like I'm not singing his praises, but I like him better than Heimer Candelario or Rizzo or Ryan or Hearn, Seth Brown. Like, yeah.
I don't have those guys up there. I have him at 30, right behind new Pirates first baseman for the same reason that I loved Carlos Santana last year. I like Rowdy Telez. Let's go ahead and do that. Uh,
Sure.
Anybody outside the 25 that you want to hit on? Like,
Um, I think look, a couple of sleepers that I have, Christian Encarnacion Strand.
Ooh, I didn't
Uh,
have him. Yeah, I need to put him in here.
yeah, the only thing about him is I don't know how much play time he's going to get, barring an injury. The Reds are kind of loaded with position players all of a sudden, unless somebody gets traded. So I don't know where he fits in. Maybe he's the DH. I don't know. And also Kyle Manzardo for the Guardians, and I know we've talked about him
Love
in the
that kid.
past episode, but yeah. So, but I don't know enough about him, and I don't like the Guardians lineup enough to really rank him. But he's somebody to keep an eye on.
Kyle Manzardo is, I guess we'll just get to this at this point. He's my sleeper this year. He is the piece that the Cleveland Guardians got in exchange for one Aaron Savale. Last year in AAA, he hit 238, 11 home. All told, he went from rookie ball to AAA in 1 year at 22 years old. All told last year, 237 batting average, 17 homers, 55 RBIs. Not the that you'd expect to see, but he is a top prospect. It was a Rays prospect. I believe that the Rays know and say had Yandy Diaz. They need this kid. Realistically, this needs to be a breakout for Cleveland. They have not had a slugger behind Jose Ramirez ever. They tried Franmil
Yeah,
Reyes. They've tried Oscar Gonzalez. They've tried now Josh Naylor, who's doing okay, I suppose. But like, you need to have a real locked in guy. And between Josh Naylor and Kyle Manzardo, one of them is going to do well this year. Not for nothing, Josh Naylor did put up 97 RBIs this past year.
yeah, and and Naylor is also right outside my top 25. Like, if he was in a better lineup, 97
Yes,
RBIs notwithstanding, if he was in a better lineup, he'd be up in there for sure.
yes, I agree. I agree. And he doesn't strike out very much, 13.8% of the time last year, 308 batting average, which was really nice. I have him at 28. I probably want to move him just ahead. Luke Raley had 19 homers and 14 steals last year and has first base eligibility and is now on Seattle. That's
Yes.
the guy I want out of Seattle, not Ty France. Not Ty France. All right, let's get to sleepers, breakouts, busts, and comebacks. So I told you my sleeper is Kyle Manzardo. Who do you have at your sleeper?
Okay, so I'm probably going to regret saying this, but look, we know the Angels are going to be terrible, but I'm keeping my eye on Nolan Shenwell. The kid was drafted in June and was in the major leagues 6 weeks later, and he wasn't terrible. Like 257 with a 362 on base, 15 homers. Like those were his projection numbers for this year. But like, and also he's drafted from my alma mater, FAU, Go Owls. Uh, look, he's due to hit in the bottom of the order of the Angels lineup. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
expecting huge things from him,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the Angels have no reason not to play him. So he's going to do something. Uh, he's somebody that I'm definitely keeping an eye on.
You know who he reminds me of? Jared Walsh. It's the same guy. He's just younger and maybe he's better. I don't know. I hope he's. I listen. I hope the Angels actually put something together because they're wasting Mike Trout's entire fucking career. They're going to be bad this year, though. I'm pretty sure they're going to finish fourth. All right, Nolan Shanuel on a sleeper. Who is your breakout candidate? Did we talk about him?
Nolan Jones.
Nolan Jones, yeah. And I have Tristan Casas as mine. We've talked extensively
Yeah, and
on
honestly, like
those.
for a while while I was doing my rankings, I had both of them as kind of like co-breakouts, but I'm giving the edge to Nolan Jones, but it could easily be Casas. Yeah.
Okay. Who is your bust this year?
My bust this year is gonna be Paul Goldschmidt, because
Hmm.
I do have him ranked sixth, but again, I do feel like there he is aging, so there's a decline. We've seen him decline, and then he kind of comes back up again. So I'm not entirely ready to write him off, but I think he's still going to go up in that top echelon, and I don't think he's going to bring back the value that people are looking for.
Yeah, I actually have the exact same guy. Just outside of the top six for me, starting off the third tier. I think it's the safe spot to put him, but I could definitely see him dropping a dud of a season, and if the Cardinals are bad again this year, I'm
Yeah.
concerned about the age catching up with him. He has been an Iron Man for a long time, playing a ton of games every year. He's almost never hurt. So at some point, that starts to catch up with you as well. Yeah, give me Goldschmidt to be a bust this year. And your comeback is Reese Hoskins, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have Rizzo and Brian as kind of candidates too, but I'm giving it to Hoskins because I think he's going to. Yeah, he's he's still young. He's young enough. He's younger than either of those two guys, uh, and he's playing for a Brewers team that yeah they might contend, but there's no pressure there. Like he had in Philadelphia. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a good spot for him to kind of ease back in and just do what he does.
My bounce back candidate is a guy pretty high on my list. It's a guy that you and I are both very familiar with. Give me Pete Alonso to have a better year than last year, man. Come on now. His expected batting average was almost 250. I don't think for 1 second that 217 is what he's actually going to hit this year. And yeah, 46 and 118 was nasty last year. I
Yeah,
think he could do better. I think he could do better. Maybe not 40, maybe not more than 46 home runs, maybe right about the same, but I think he could drive in more than 120 this year. On a
on the
walk
Mets.
year. On a walk year. On a walk year. That's the biggest thing about this is that it's on a walk year. If they don't sign him by the time spring comes, he is going to ball out and get a really big contract because I think the Mets are afraid of going to that $200 million threshold like a guy like Olson did. And I don't think this is a guy that's going to age poorly, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good year for Alonso.
I mean, I'm certainly hoping for it too. For me, like I see the other guys, Hoskins or Rizzo, like more of a bounce back because they didn't play.
Right.
Whereas Alonso, at least, yeah, he played. The 217 is not him. Like that,
No,
But so that's gonna bounce back. That's gonna bounce back. But the rest of it is him. So I don't see enough where he needs to bounce back. The other guys definitely do.
absolutely. Absolutely. I still think it's going to be a 40 and 100 season in his sleep for Pete Alonso, so long as he stays healthy. And there's no reason to believe
Absolutely.
that he won't because he plays 155 games or more almost every year.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Carlos new manager uses him. Is he going to DH him a little bit more than he has in the past? And to keep him a little bit fresher and things like that. Is he going to maybe even sit him a couple of days? Because in the past it, he never sat. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this year goes. It's going to be very interesting for him and the Mets, I think.
Absolutely. Guys, that's first base. Next week we'll do second base, and we are in line to get this season started. So excited. Jason, thank you so much for being here with me.
Absolutely, man. This is the time of the year, man. Spring training is right around the corner. Draft's coming soon. Bring on the baseball.
Yeah. Guys, if you want to be a part of these shows, all you got to do is let us know because we schedule these things on Sundays, but we don't have to do them on Sundays. We'd be happy to do them anytime. You want to join? All you got to do is put in a list of 25. Let us know you want to be on the show. Send us in that list of 25 guys to any position we're doing going forward, and we'll be happy to have you on. Until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.